CBS News foreign correspondent Seth Doane joins us now from Cambrils, Spain. First, Secretary Tillerson acknowledged that an American is among the dead from Thursday's Barcelona terror attack, although the identity of that person has not been released yet. What more can you tell us?
Well, we know that that person is indeed Jared Tucker, the person that you mentioned in that lead in there. He and his wife Heidi were on vacation here, their first international trip and their first year of marriage, celebrating their anniversary. You hear these stories and it just breaks your heart. This one seems particularly difficult to hear. His father has talked to media and said they looked at all of these pictures of the couple together in the last week. He said it seems like it had been some of the happiest days of his life. He said, you know, at least I know that my son died happy. The more that these terrorist attacks continue, and you can almost grow numb to them if you just look at them on a whole, but when you look down at the specific stories, when you read and you hear these families of the people affected, it's just heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. There are reports that the driver in the Barcelona van attack, Seth, is among the 5 dead suspects now in Cambrils, but authorities say they're still trying to identify him. So what else do we know about the police efforts to find everyone that was involved in these attacks?
We've seen those reports, and we can't confirm directly from police. They've been circulating in Spanish media here throughout the day that the driver was one of those killed here in that incident where they drove that car and police shot them. But we don't know for sure that that driver was the one who was killed here. Police came out and said they were still trying to work on the identity after those reports came out. But we know that there is a massive manhunt underway. When we were driving down here, the 75 miles or so this morning coming from Barcelona, a trip that's supposed to take an hour took 3 hours because there are so many checkpoints. There is this massive manhunt underway, and they were stopping us on the road, stopping everybody on the road heading out of Barcelona, looking at everyone in every car. So police are certainly trying to find these suspects, some of them incredibly young, 17 years old.
In your piece, Seth, you mentioned the explosion that leveled a home in Alcanar on Wednesday. What do we know about how these 3 incidents now are connected, and what other details do you have about a possible larger terror plot?
It's interesting, that first explosion, which happened Wednesday, was originally just reported as a rather benign gas explosion. They obviously didn't know it had anything to do with a terrorist plot because it hadn't taken place yet. So that was Wednesday. And then just about a day later, this incident, first in Las Ramblas with the van, and then the one here with the Audi that drove into another group of pedestrians. Police are theorizing that what was happening there was in this house, which we visited. We saw the road today, that the house that was leveled, that exploded. They were working with gas canisters, likely trying to build some sort of bomb. Some have theorized that it could have been put into a vehicle, and something went wrong, and that explosion took place. And police are theorizing that these vehicle attacks in Barcelona and here were sort of Plan B. The police called them rudimentary attack, but certainly they were effective and deadly.
Seth, CBS News has learned that the U.S. intelligence community warned Spanish authorities in June about the threat of possible terror attacks. The threat was reportedly nonspecific, but were Spanish authorities preparing for an imminent attack?
Well, the threat level here is set at 4. It's been that way for a little bit more than 2 years. It was moved from 3 to 4 on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the worst, the most severe threat level. It's been at that level 4 for about a little more than 2 years. Tomorrow there'll be some discussion of raising it. I was here on vacation in Barcelona last month, and you did see a security presence on the street, as you do in so many major cities across Europe these days, particularly at sensitive sites. But the people here in Spain, the Spanish, have a relatively discreet profile. A lot of work happens behind the scenes, and for everyone from police forces and folks not in uniform, but also judges and prosecutors and such, trying to stop an attack like this from happening. The Spanish are also pretty good at alerting the public when a jihadist, when an arrest is made here in Spain. So you certainly see police on the streets, you see see an armed presence at very high-profile sites, but it is more discreet than some countries.
Seth Doane reporting from Spain. Thank you, Seth.